Hi, everybody. Welcome to Christian Homestead. My name is Jared. You may have already seen this, but as of November 5th, this government shutdown is the longest in U.S. history. And before this point, I made a video talking about the fact that if it reached this point, I was going to go ahead and add it to my spreadsheets. And so I did. This is my spreadsheet called Timeline Second Coming. It started on October 1st, which I didn't really think about it at the time, but it's an interesting time for this to have happened because this was during the apostolic interregnum. It was just a couple days before General Conference. I've added it to column L, where there's these columns right here are supposed to depict ongoing events, and so I added the government shutdown. So this one, it started during the apostolic interregnum. I don't know if that's significant or not, but it's very interesting timing. It feels like there's been a flurry of events during this transition from President Nelson to President Oaks. So I guess I tend to think more along the lines that, yes, it is significant timing. It just adds to all these other events, including what we saw in Michigan just a few days before, what we saw the day after President Nelson's birthday at Utah Valley University, this unusual tornado in Utah, the unusually deep earthquake in Utah, the same day as what happened in Utah Valley University. It was deep enough to where it was actually in the Earth's mantle. Those type of earthquakes are more on the rare side. And then we had the 100-year storm in Utah during General Conference, which caused flooding in Salt Lake City and Tooele County. Remember, this is essentially how President Nelson and President Oaks' apostleship began in the lead up to them being called. There was flooding in Salt Lake City. And then, we had the ceasefire in Israel, hostages returned, any other things. And then we've had, this isn't so much political, but we've had this Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. I need to double check on that and see if there's any updates. Last I checked, there were 60 dead. And now, November 5th, that's the day that marked the longest, what made this shutdown the longest in U.S. history. Here's the clock right here on whitehouse.gov. So 40 days it's been going on, which now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually kind of interesting. It doesn't seem like it's going to end like right now. I'm going to show you what I looked up on Grok. But before we do, this is Grokipedia. I'm probably going to start using this more than Wikipedia. We'll see how it goes. But Grokipedia just came out and it's similar. It has the same function as Wikipedia. I'm sure not everything is 100% correct, but I think that this is more accurate. But this is a list of the longest government shutdowns in U.S. history. In fact, I think it's all the shutdowns. So you go back to the 70s and 80s, and the most of it ever got to was like 3 days under Ronald Reagan. Then with Bill Clinton, we have a 6-day shutdown, a 22-day shutdown, Barack Obama, 16 days, and then Donald Trump's first term, a 35-day shutdown. And I take this as a sign because it seems to be an indication that things are deteriorating politically, and they have been for a long time, and this is just one manifestation of it. And it's a little bit troubling because each time you have a record-breaking shutdown, it sets a precedent for the future. Like, it becomes more and more the way of doing things when you don't get what you want. You just shut down the government, and then everybody else has to pay for it. I'm not in favor of these shutdowns probably ever. I think it should never, ever get to this point. And if it does, it should be more like what it was in the 80s. So, what's it going to be next time? Are they going to look back and say, well, the one in 2025, it was bad, but like, it wasn't the end of the world. So this time let's go longer. And then the next time after that, well, let's go longer. So you see what I'm saying? I feel like it's a slippery slope. So I feel like it's a sign of the times, political instability and a breakdown in compromise and trying to work together for the greater good and so forth. The news that came out today is this. This is Fox News. Senate vote to end government shutdown ignites Democrat civil war. Now, this is not like a final step to shut down or to stop the shutdown, but it is a significant step. I went to Grok to find out exactly what has to happen. When I first pulled it up, and I just left this up, I'm not saying that this is related, but I saw this uh, shocking video right here. Um, I've reposted this on X in case you want to watch it, and I'll put the link in the description box below. But this is Travis Cook, unsupervised. Massive fire in Utah County going on right now. An entire apartment structure, new construction, totally engulfed, fire engines just starting to arrive. So, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I wonder where that's at. I'd be willing to bet that that's like near Saratoga Springs because, well, what do I know? I'm not a Utah Valley person, but I was there a few weeks ago. And do you guys know where this is at? Did you see this maybe during your commute? Please let me know in the comments below. But that's beside the point. I just wanted to point that out. That was an interesting thing to pull up, like the first thing as I was doing this video. So this is what Grok says. What else needs to happen to end the shutdown? The bill is not yet law. Here's the step-by-step path forward. Number 1, final Senate passage. The bill now needs a simple majority vote, 51 to 49, in the Senate for full approval. This could occur as early as today, November 10th, given the momentum and Republican control. Okay, number 2, House of Representatives approval. The House, led by Speaker Mike Johnson, must pass the identical bill. So it has to be identical. They can't. Johnson has urged members to return to Washington amid travel disruptions from the shutdown. House Democrats, well, it points out thousands of canceled flights. House Democrats, led by Hakeem Jeffries, have criticized the deal for lacking ACA extensions and may resist, but Republicans hold a slim majority and could pass it on party lines. If amendments are added, the bill returns to the Senate, potentially delaying resolution. So I guess that's the thing that could really hold it up. Amendments. Passage is expected within 24 to 48 hours if no changes are made. And then after that, to the president. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. Again, I just realized as I was making this video, it's interesting that it's approximately 40 days. We know that 40 is a significant number in the scriptures. Back when I was talking to Rabbi Gerfine on a regular basis, he's a rabbi that lives in West Jerusalem. I was set up with him through Israel 365. He talked about the fact that from the Jewish point of view, 40 is an incubation period. It's a time of preparation. And in my own studies, and by the way, if you're interested, let's just go to my spreadsheet called quotes, numbers. It's been a while since we've looked at this, but I've tried to find scriptural as well as modern day examples of why certain numbers are significant or what may make them significant or what they symbolize. And of course, we have 40 on here. And what I've noticed is that in the scriptures, what tends to happen is you'll have a 40-day period, and then after the 40-day period is complete, that's when destruction comes. So for example, with Noah and the flood, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and then came the flood proper that destroyed the wicked. You have Moses coming down from Mount Sinai, 40 days and 40 nights. Let's see. Both times that he received the tablets with the 10 commandments, after the 40 days, the golden calf was destroyed. So, the wicked basically are, in this case, a wicked object along with 3,000 were put to death. So you have the wicked that are destroyed. Israel wandering in the wilderness for 40 years after leaving Egypt. And then as they begin to possess the promised land, the wicked that live in the promised land, starting with Jericho, are destroyed. So there's destruction that comes after this preparation period. Christ, he fasted for 40 days, and after that, his ministry started. And so that would have been a big problem for Satan and his plans with the people and misleading them. So then came destruction, you could say, of Satan's plans, and ultimately it culminated with the atonement and victory over sin and death. Let's see. We have the 40 years of the Salt Lake Temple. And what happened with that, interestingly, is that it took 40 years to complete. And then on the day that it was dedicated, President Wilford Woodruff said that the angels of destruction were released. And I have all the quotes right here. I'm not going to read all these, but you have one from Wilford Woodruff during a temple workers excursion, like temple workers of the Salt Lake Temple. There was an excursion the year after it was dedicated, and he talked about the fact that the angels were released. But he actually said it at the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple, as reported by Joseph Fielding Smith. And I have these 3 quotes. Well, let's just do that. I heard President Wilford Woodruff in this same place where I stand, bear witness, as he had done in other places, in 1893 and up to the time of his death, that the angels who had been waiting to go forth to reap down the earth had now been sent upon that mission, and they were in the earth. Therefore, he said, we may look for calamities, for destruction, for plague, and bloodshed. And it's more explicit here. This is in the Doctrine and Covenants student manual, where it talks about this happened at the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple. So 40 years, and then angels of destruction released. So that's why I find this interesting that today we're at, I mean, today, when you have this news with the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate. So of all days for this to happen, it happens on the 40th day. Is it going to bring something, some type of destruction or something like that? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But this has been a wild year. I want to say that this may be the wildest year since 2020. I still feel like 2024 was the wildest year when it comes to signs in the heavens because of the 2 auroras, and then we had 2 comets, and we had the tornado outbreak that started in Utah. There were a lot of those type of signs, but this year, when it comes to like politics and war and other things, it's been a pretty wild year. And this is the same year that President Oaks became president of the church. So I guess it makes sense. Okay, well, that's going to be for this one. I'll talk to you guys later.